Welcome back, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Unsung Heroes with today a gentleman it's been my pleasure to know for many years, and he's been in more bands than I've had hot dinners, if the truth be known. And it's a pleasure to introduce you to my first drummer on this Unsung Heroes channel, and that's Mr. Peter Stroud. Pete, how the devil are you?
Hello.
Nice to see you. Nice to see you. Thanks for
Paul.
coming.
Thanks for asking me.
No problem. Now, checking on your bio, Steve, Pete, I noticed that you're from the wonderful country that is Wales.
Yeah.
And
A valley boy.
absolutely valid. So, which part was it you were actually born in?
I was born in a town called Ebbw Vale.
I know
a
Ebbw
steel
Yeah,
town.
steel town. Yeah,
That is no longer a steel
I know.
town.
Well,
Obviously.
we know that, obviously.
Yeah.
And your first band was in Wales, and I believe it was the first band was called Panic.
Well, that came out of other bands called Cherry Blossom Organisation and a couple of other names, but it morphed into Panic. Yeah,
Oh, okay.
Which was the sort of first serious go at what we were trying to do.
Yeah,
know.
for sure.
Yeah.
What sort of influences were around at the time?
Oh, well, we
What
were pretty trendy. We were listening to Canned Heat.
Yeah.
Blues based, basically. Yeah,
Sure.
We used to do a few Cream numbers, and then it sort of went into the Doobie Brothers, Early Steely Dan, all that
I
sort
got
of
you.
stuff.
I got
But we wrote our own stuff, obviously, as well.
Right,
So
yeah.
just put in a few covers, just
Yeah.
to keep it all rolling along.
Absolutely, yeah. And how long did that run for, roughly?
That sort of folded in '74, but I jumped out of it to go to university for 2 years. For 1 year, actually. I did my first year, then took a year off. I went back to Panic, lived in Cardiff,
Yeah.
on that scene with Budgie and Sassafras
Oh, great,
and all
yeah.
that era.
Well, I saw,
Man.
yeah, well, yeah.
And then about the end of '74, it all sort of, it just all fell apart, really. There was nothing really happening. So I went back to university and finished off my course.
And what was the course in?
History and archaeology.
Oh, wonderful.
I was going to be an archaeologist, but my future lay in ruins. And,
It's very good. How many times have you used that one?
but then I joined a circus for 4 years as a drummer. I was a terrible drummer, but I was the only one who could get the tent back in the bag.
And ladies and gentlemen, you'll probably get an idea of how this conversation is going to go, because Pete is one of the funniest men I know, and if his career as a wonderful drummer ever gives up, he's got a stand-up routine waiting for him just by talking. You know, you don't have to tell him. It's just funny listening to him.
Yeah.
On a serious note,
Panic ended at the end of '74,
and you did your uni bit. and
came out in '76.
You joined Sassafras, who were a very popular band at the time.
Yeah.
Like a lot of bands at that period. You mentioned Budgie and Man to a lesser degree.
Yeah.
There were bands that were sort of always around, but I would call, if you had to use a football analogy, in the current climate, they were in the championship rather than in the Premiership.
Yeah,
sort of
they
thing, you know?
they were doing tons of live work, which there was around at the time,
course,
obviously. 6 dates a week we were doing colleges and all sorts of stuff, but never quite cracked it. I mean, we were running alongside bands that did crack it, because one of the bands that we were sort of keeping up with at the time were Thin Lizzy.
Oh, right, I see.
And,
did you open for those guys a few times?
No, I don't think so. But the connection was the manager of Sassafras, Carl Leighton Pope, who went on to do great things. He knew, I think the Thin Lizzy manager was Pete O'Donnell.
Yeah, that rings a bell, yeah.
Yeah, and they were friends, and so it was a bit of a rivalry, which band's getting ahead of it.
Yeah, I get
but, the rest is history,
Yeah,
obviously.
well, that's often the case, isn't it?
Yeah.
The case. So, but the Sassafras thing, which we'll move on to later again, has kind of raised its head again for you.
It has, yeah.
Which we can talk about a little later.
Right.
And I've checked them out a little bit. I mean, there's a particular album that I was listening to the other day of theirs called Riding High, which was, I would imagine, was the album that you were playing stuff from when you were in the band.
Yeah, we did stuff.
But you never actually recorded with them, did you?
No, I didn't. No, I was with them for about the last 9 months.
Okay.
Before that fell apart for various reasons, which I won't go into actually. But that sort of ground to a halt.
Sure.
And then I went and did actually a residency in a nightclub with the guys out of Sassafras.
Oh, right, okay.
Minus 1 or 2 of them, before moving up to London.
Yeah. So the move to London, what was that the old Streets of Poby Gold sort of idea, and which is what I did, of course. But
more or less, it was.
Several of us did that,
I mean,
was there something for you to come to when you did that, or was it purely off chance?
It's a bit vague, actually. I remember being picked up by the Foster brothers.
Oh, right, yeah, I remember them.
From my parents' house. And they all came down in a dark blue transit van, if I remember rightly, and whisked me away to the big bad city. But I think I'd been up there before then. I think my brother had moved up, and I followed him up or something like that. Because my brother and I were both musicians, so we were in and out of each other's sort of careers. So
projects and stuff.
Yeah. So I went up there. No, I think that was the second time I went up there with the Foster brothers. First time I went up when I think I went up to join Krakatoa.
Yes, that's
the Brighton band.
Yes,
with Maggie Ryder, who was the singer.
Oh no, Maggie,
and there's a good story there where I've told it before, but I will tell it again. That was another band that sort of ran for 6 months and then ground to a halt for various reasons again. But one of the reasons, I had my drum kit nicked in the East End. I had a beautiful Gretsch drum kit, had stolen out the back of a car. And I had to move back to Wales, basically, to earn money to buy another drum kit. This was pre-credit cards.
Of course,
if you didn't have the money to buy it, you had to go find it somewhere.
Exactly,
So I literally had to move back to London, got a job in the steelworks. From London, got a job in the steelworks. But as I left Krakatoa, they decided to rejig the band. I think Maggie Ryder left, and they got another drummer in who has been with Saxons ever since.
Oh, right, okay.
Yeah, he's had a good career, actually. But another guy that came in when I left, they had a young keyboard player walk through the door, and he joined the band, and his name was Hans Zimmer. And
wow,
I think he's got a few things going on now.
I think just a little.
I've always thought it was a great metaphor for my career. As Hans Zimmer walked in through the door, I walked out.
Exactly. Yeah. I think we can all kind of relate to that one a little bit. I think we've all been in that position a few more times. So who's that bloke who took my place? Oh yeah, the biggest star on the planet. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's nice. You mentioned the Foster Brothers, Pete.
Yes,
I was aware of the Foster Brothers probably a little bit later than that, because I first came across them when they became a band called Little Sister.
That's right, yeah.
But they'd been around, and they brought a single out which I bought, "Count Me Out," which was a great record. I absolutely loved it.
They were on top of the pops.
Exactly, yeah. And I mean, so you joined them. Was that at the time that they were having that hit?
Yes, just after that hit was just been and gone.
Yeah.
And they were sort of moving on to the next stage. You know, it featured obviously Graham and Malcolm Foster.
Of course, yeah.
And the wonderful Robbie McIntosh, young Robbie McIntosh, who was probably 18 or 19.
Oh.
Lived in Morden with his mum and dad. So that was like full of hope.
Yeah.
You know, and Mike Vernon was the producer.
Oh, wow.
Who owned Chipping Norton Studios.
Yeah,
It was always a nice thing to have in your back pocket.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
But again, that signed to Rocket Records. We went up to Mayfair to the head offices quite a few times.
Did you meet Elton?
I don't think I met Elton. No, he was not. Well, I wasn't there. But we met a few people. Muff Winwood, I think, was hanging around there one day. We met him, and he showed us the acoustic guitar that was on Unit 4+2.
Oh, right.
Concrete and Clay.
Yeah.
That was one of my memories. But it was. We all thought we had a career.
Well, again,
then that ground to a halt again. Rocket Records pulled the plug because they didn't hear any more.
They didn't hear another hit.
No, something like that, and that dissolved. And that's when I was living in Streatham by then in a flat, and that was the start of just grafting around looking for gigs and all that pub scene that was
becoming a freelancer.
Yeah.
I mean, the thing is, you see, what a lot of people don't realise is that scene. While we look at, we were just hanging around the pub scene, there was some immensely wonderful, talented bands and musicians around on that scene at that time.
Yeah.
Because when I came to London, it was 81, so it was kind of still a burgeoning scene. You know?
Yes,
I mean,
yeah,
I actually saw you playing with Chris Thompson,
right? On the
which
islands.
I'll come to. At, so I think it was the Golden Lion. That's right.
That was one of our
I used to go there quite a bit when I first came down here.
Yeah.
I used to sort of Q-Tips down there, and Kokomo, and all these sort of people
Yeah.
that we were around on the scene at the time. But a lot of people that we've since worked with started out on that scene.
Yeah.
And so I would imagine you made contact with quite a lot of people that you probably still know now at that time. I mean, we've got an old friend, sadly no longer, was Brendan Hoban. Did you play with him at that time?
No, that
early
was
mid-80s, or was that later?
Pre-Brendan. Yeah, okay. I'd met him by then.
Right.
Yeah.
So what sort of bands in that pub scene that you mentioned there that because you'd be freelancing, I guess.
Yeah.
So anybody in particular that we would?
Richie Milton was.
Richie. Yeah.
I was in.
Well, he's done one of these. He was here the other week.
Yeah. Well, I was in the what were they called? Good. Not the Richie Milton and Lowdowners, pre that.
Yeah, I can't remember what he said the band were called now. I've got it on the video.
It might come to me later on. I would do the cartoon. Nobody Rings Me. Oh, it's Peter Reese. And I can't answer it. Sorry, Pete.
Real life people, real life
no.
work.
No.
He's probably just lost a gig,
That's the bass player from Gary Moore.
Absolutely, Gary Moore, yeah. There you go.
No. So, where were we?
Well, you were saying that you'd been working with Richie.
Richie, the London Apaches.
That's it, London Apaches, yeah.
Sorry,
well, he mentioned you when he came down.
Yeah.
Because they were really highly thought of at that time.
Yeah, they were.
And they were doing a lot of work.
Richie's was a great front man,
he's fabulous.
We used to do a regular Sunday lunchtime on a Sunday. I mean, talking about the good old days and more work. A regular Sunday lunchtime on a Sunday, obviously, sorry. At the Cartoon.
Yeah.
In Croydon.
I know.
We were on there every week, I think.
And it was like 12 till 2, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It was fabulous.
Yeah. And then you'd go out and do a gig in the evening as well, They were the old days.
They are the old days. I mean, I use that line these days, Peter, and I'm sure you've heard it. There was a time when you were doing 16 gigs a month, and now I'm doing 16 gigs a year.
Yeah, that's
well, probably a little more for you, but that's how many I've done this year.
Yeah.
I've had other things, ladies and gentlemen, to deal with, as some of you are probably aware. Anyway, getting back to music.
Yeah.
You're working with the London Apaches.
That's one of the things.
Yeah, a renowned rhythm and blues band of a type, if you like. But who else would you have been working with at that time, roughly?
That's a good question. I'm not so sure, but just guys probably that are bands I don't even remember, really. I mean, but that little period then led into getting a call. I was working in a drum shop as well. I was working in Pro Perk around that time, doing a part-time job.
Yeah.
And that led to getting a call from Robbie, I think probably, Robbie McIntosh, do I want to get involved with Chris Thompson?
Yeah.
And
did you know who he was at that point?
Yeah. Well, he'd done Blinded by the Light.
Of course, Dave's on the road again and all
that
stuff.
Yeah, voice. And that happened for a while, and then
did you record with those guys?
I have got a cassette of some nice material. We did some good stuff because it was good. But again, we were doing the Bridge House and the Golden Lion and all that sort of thing. But again, just wasn't going anywhere, so it sort of dissolved a little bit.
It was difficult at that time because I know in the 80s the record companies, they wanted guys with makeup on and new romantic and all that sort of stuff, and that was dominating the charts. And I think muso bands, as I'd call them, or sort of more traditional sort of Americana style music wasn't very, in terms of the charts anyway, wasn't particularly vaunted, lauded by the record companies because they felt it was an older scene. But as we know only too well, what they fail to realise is it doesn't die; it just goes underground and stays there, and there's a core of people that still go to see it, because it's great music, and the thing is, it's timeless. It doesn't pop its head up as much as it should do,
right?
But inevitably, it's always there. There's always something there that people can pick up on,
And of course, this era as well, the punk thing had come along as well, so that altered the dynamic quite a lot, really, commercially.
Yeah,
you know.
Yeah, that's and particularly critically in terms of the press too.
Yeah.
I think that they felt that the era of punk, for a certain element of the journalistic cartel, should we call it, felt that was ground zero. That anything went before just didn't exist. And it all started again
That's
now.
True.
You know, that was kind of the approach that they had.
Yeah.
But you know, I mean, the thing is, you're working all the time. And you're working with some great musicians, because Chris Thompson's a phenomenal singer and a good songwriter too.
Yeah, great band.
Great players. Who else was in the islands with you?
Well, Malcolm, Robbie, and a keyboard player who was a bit tasty, whose name I can't remember. But yeah, it was a good lineup. It was a good band, you know. I mean, Chris is a good guitarist as well as a good rhythm player. So it was a good band. Great band. But
did you do any of the stuff? Because he did an album, I think, the year before that with his wife
called Night.
Yes. Yeah. Did you do any of the stuff off that?
You did. Yeah. We did one track. No. I can't remember what it was.
No, it's okay. It's okay. Because I bought that album.
Did you really?
I actually went out and bought it.
It's a great album.
It's a great record. Rick
Marotta, Stevie Langer, but Ain't That Peculiar?
Oh, great old Motown shit.
That's on that album.
Oh, right, yeah.
And the drummer, just to get a bit drummist, the drummer's Rick Marotta on that track. And I listened to it and thought, this is okay. So
you can play a bit.
Taking it to rehearsal, you think, hang on, it's a bit more difficult than you think it is. You know, he's like all these great players. They're making something quite difficult sound very easy.
Well,
you know,
that's why.
And that track, I always sort of tried to emulate what Rick Marotta had done. Never quite getting there, obviously, because he's one of my favourite players. Oh, well. But there, we live in hope.
Well, yeah, but at the end of the day, you know, at least you give it a go, and to even attempt to try and play like somebody that you consider to be a hero and highly accomplished. And to nearly put it off, it's a pretty good effort all round. Really. Yeah, because it's 99% of the time people wouldn't even attempt it. You know?
No, I know,
and that's the important thing. So you deserve to credit for that from that point of view. And I noticed after the islands, and we've talked about you playing in the pub scene with some really good musicians.
Yeah.
That you did a bit of teaching as well, which
came about, that was a bit later. I think in the 90s I worked as a drum teacher in the schools. Late 80s, early 90s, I got like a lot of people, you end up doing a bit of teaching to make ends meet, and that was all right. That ran out of road when I was so busy with BJORN Again. They were getting a bit annoyed with me cancelling teaching sessions and all that. So but I did that for a while. Merton Music Foundation, I taught. In and around.
And anybody come through that you were?
No, I mean there is one guy I taught him drums, but he's become a bass player in a good band.
Oh, right.
He's from Mitcham, obviously. I can't remember his name, but normally you're teaching kids who would like to be drummers, but it's not in their DNA, and they, they reach a certain age and move on. You know, which I find with a lot of.
Do you have to learn to have a lot of patience to do that job, Pete? Because when you're a teacher, I always get the feeling that, you know, the things you're showing them, because whoever it is and whatever the subject might be, because you know you can do that fairly easily. Yeah. You know, you have to have a mindset to think, I'm not teaching me here, I'm teaching them. Yeah, yeah. So don't expect them to be as good as I am. You know. Right. Does the chance when that gets frustrating, maybe?
Well, I must admit, I never really enjoyed teaching drums. No. I didn't. Especially in schools, you were shoved into rooms with bare walls and bare floors, and the noise was fairly, horrendous. But there was some satisfaction in seeing some kids, do very well.
That's good.
Yeah, but I find it pretty tough gig actually teaching, and I don't miss it now. To be honest.
Well, it wasn't your calling, was it? It was a necessity at the time, as it were. Helped out, sort of thing.
I mean, the whole thing's changed these days when kids, younger guys come out of college or whatever, a music college as drummers, and within 2 years they're teachers because there's not a lot for them to get involved with it on the music scene.
No, not.
Whereas in my day, you became a teacher when you're about 45.
Exactly.
When your rock and roll career was taking a dip.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
So that's changed as well. Yeah.
So you mentioned BJORN Again there. I've got to sort of talk at some length about this. How did that come about getting that gig? How,
a Welsh connection.
Oh, I see. Right, you're a little bloody mafia over there, aren't you?
Yeah. Right. There was a Welsh guy from Cwmbran who I knew, and he worked in a drum shop in Denmark Street.
Okay.
And that's where the roadie from BJORN AGAIN bought all the drum heads and everything.
Right.
And he mentioned that they were looking for a drummer.
Mm-hmm.
And this guy gave them my number. And I was sort of, it was just, by chance, really.
Yeah.
So, and I remember going up to a studio in the Old Kent Road, like a film studio or something, and they were filming a winter scene for one of those things they had. Like, they did a little bit of recording.
Mm-hmm.
They did, they were on Top of the Pops, actually, with one of a song, which I can't remember the name of, dear me.
Was it when they did that EP where they covered those Erasure songs?
Erasure, that's it.
Right, yeah.
And they were there, and I went in and watched, and they were on the stage in these Swedish knitted jumpers, and there was false snow, and this was the Australian lineup, the original Australian, and I just thought, this looks like ABBA. It is ABBA. It was so reminiscent of the real thing, It did turn my head a little bit, and then... Yeah, I got on board, and of course that was an early click gig.
Of course, yeah.
Because not many people were working with the click that was 94. And not many people were working with the click at that time, so I dived in, and I hadn't worked with it before as well, but you
soon picked it up.
Yeah, you get used to it very quickly.
Yeah, I would imagine so.
As somebody said, it can become your worst enemy.
Well, I was going to say,
also your best friend.
Yeah, I mean, yes, I was going to ask you that because. Yeah. Knowing that you work with a click track on there, does it limit your opportunity to express? You have to play literally the same thing every time.
It shouldn't, really. Right. But obviously, it probably would stop you going nuts on the kit.
Of course,
you've got to. But it's also good discipline because it keeps you honest.
Yeah.
It's good,
and it makes you play what's right for the song.
Yeah, exactly.
Just saying, look at me, sort of thing.
The Steve Ferroni thing where don't do any drum fills. Just play the song.
Just play the song. Exactly.
What's his famous quote? If when you walk on that drum riser, if you think it's all about you, you're in the wrong job.
Well, it's very true. Unlike singers, of course.
Yeah, exactly.
No, I'm joking. Honestly, just a little. But no,
he's not. Go on.
Yeah, but you have to also carry the weight of disappointment with you as well when you're a singer. The rest of the guys can just think, well, blame him if it goes horribly wrong, so you're all right. I mean,
so that was the start of about 6 or 7 years.
Yeah, I was going to say, you did a lot of work with them, and you did some serious gigs with those guys, didn't you? I mean, and we have a little thing on the show which I've used as a bit of a joke called the name drop bin, right?
Right. Okay.
So in some weeks I say, we're going to need a couple here because I think Pete's going to drop a few or whoever I'm talking to. But let the people know some of the people that you've, and not just the countries you travel to, which is pretty much all over the world. But I mean,
don't know if we did. We did Wembley Stadium supporting the Spice Girls.
Wonderful.
2 nights running.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
But then we were doing arenas. This was the late 90s. We were doing all the Wembley Arena, Newcastle, Sheffield, all those arenas all up the country. And, like 7,000-8,000 seaters.
Wonderful.
That was in the heyday of BJORN AGAIN.
Yeah.
And then at the end of the tour, you do 5 nights sold out at Shepherd's Bush Empire from 14th to the 19th of December.
Wonderful.
Yeah, we're all sold out, but a lot of it was Christmas parties and all that.
Of course, yeah.
Everybody, all the office
kids
came in.
Well, I mean, we know how popular ABBA are. When you look at this show that they put together that's still going after 2 years, it's still sold out every night. It's a wonderful show. I'm surprised because that's a real band on that, isn't it? They use real musicians, I believe.
Yes, they do.
I'm surprised you didn't get a call for that.
Well, they're all those guys are like West End guys. They're all good readers.
Oh, I see.
And I'm not a reader. See,
no.
I mean, I'm not a non-reader, but I'm not a fly shit sort
No, I
of
know,
reader,
I got you. Yeah,
you know,
I know.
I can get through a part if
Yeah.
you give it to me in advance.
Of course, yeah. I know what you mean.
I'm not like some of these guys that could just sit in front and play.
Yeah, yeah, I know.
That's a whole different skill. But that goes back to the '60s, where you know, one of my records, I Want to Hold Your Hand. That's what I learned to drum on.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about that.
I'm self-taught. I never had lessons.
No. So when it comes to drummers I mean, they're great songs, all of those you've picked. I couldn't find on Spotify anyway, I couldn't find the School Days one, but I'm sure I found a version of it on YouTube, which I shall put up as a description under there so you can check it out. All those tracks, how much of it is because you love the song and how much of it is because the drumming was an inspiration to you?
Right, okay. It's neither of those things, actually.
That's all right.
They've got... they tell a story about where I was at the time or something, you know. It's like
I've done that myself.
Historical thing.
Yeah.
That where, like, I Want to Hold Your Hand. I remember sitting in my mother and father's front room with Tupperware and a cigarette case which had a rattly lid. That was the hi-hat.
Yeah.
And, you know, the tubs were the snare drum and the
Wonderful.
tom-tom. And I used to drum to I Want to Hold Your Hand.
So how long was it before you got your first kit?
Quite a while. I didn't get a kit till I was 14.
All right.
I had a snare drum when I was 10, 11. A Ringo Starr snare drum, plastic, with a wooden stand. Now worth a lot of money on eBay.
Yeah, I bet.
Wish I still had it. Because they made several. It was like a dark red shell with bright red lugs. Like they had an Eric Delaney version and all these drummers, but they had a Ringo Starr version. And
wonderful.
they if you were selling that in America on eBay, you know, you'd be slapped up. Then I had an Olympic snare drum, and then I bought my first kit was when I was 14, which was just somebody'd hand painted a load of drums up in a little village near me, and I carried them over a mountain, 14 quid.
Wow, those are the days.
Because they all fitted in each other.
It's absolutely like a little Russian doll sort of thing. I know. Yeah. So, going back a little bit here to the start. Yeah. Was the Hovis music playing as you were walking up that hill?
Probably was.
It would fit with Wales because that's similar. Similar territory.
My granddad used to leave it on the doorstep, hot, brown, and steamy.
Love it. So, you get your first kit at 14, Pete.
Yeah.
When was your first gig? Can you remember that?
15, I think. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Went on a double-decker bus, put all the kit under the, where they split the prams and everything. Yeah. At the Ebbw Vale TA Centre. Yeah.
Oh, great. Good crowd.
I think they were. Yeah. And then I think on my second gig, No, that was okay. I'm getting mixed up here. Yeah, that was good. Yeah, and that was the start then of being on the road.
Yeah, well, as you said, 55 years. That's pretty impressive. And I mean, and you're still as enthusiastic, still as good as ever. And no, I'm genuine there. Your reputation goes before you. And I mean, the other tracks you've picked. I mean, take the Steely Dan one, for instance.
Right.
Don't Take Me Alive. Don't Take Me Alive.
Right. Well, there's a reason for that. Yeah, that is a drummer. That's Bernard Purdie.
Ah, well.
Right.
Yeah.
And everybody holds up Asia and Steve Gadd on that title track. But as good as that is, and I love that, but the Royal Scam has got Bernard Purdie on it, and the way he plays through that album is just sensational.
Oh no, yeah, it is a great album.
It's just like
I love it. I mean, I've got all those albums.
He's out of his comfort zone. He's doing rock really, and he's a soul drummer, but it's just phenomenal. I just love that whole. And of course, Don't Take Me Alive. I mean, that's a classic Steely Dan song. Great guitar, Larry Carlton. Great hook.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I thought that's as good as any.
There was a statistic came out some years ago that said that they've sold the equivalent in records, just in America. This is of every street in America has got a Steely Dan album. That's the equivalent of how many records they sold and how popular they were.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's not surprising that you've got the muso sensibility that they had from loving jazz, but they knew how to write a pop song, and the R&B feels as well, and merged all that together, and with a unique sound of the voices. Nobody else sounds like Donald Fagen.
No.
I know they had that other singer when they first started, and they did gigs with him. He never really, it struck me, he never really fitted with them, to be honest.
No, and the story is Donald Fagen didn't want the gig when he left, did he? He didn't want to do it.
No.
And he wanted Jerry Rafferty to do it.
Did you really?
Yes.
Oh, I didn't know this.
Yes.
I've learned something, people.
Donald Fagen
font of knowledge.
Donald Fagen wanted Jerry Rafferty to join the band.
Well, I never.
Yeah.
What a different world that would have been.
Yeah, it would have been.
There.
So, but you could see the voice there is similar.
Yeah.
But Steely Dan, I mean, Don't Take Me Alive, great song. But, I mean, if you want a great song that Steely Dan have written, I mean, Ricky Don't Lose That Number, I mean, that is just fantastic.
Yeah, I know.
And with the best guitar solo ever,
Exactly, yeah. I mean, but there's so many. I mean, I was getting into them at 15 and 16, and when all my mates had long hair and were going to see Led Zeppelin, and I was buying Steely Dan albums, I always went against the tide a little bit. It took me a while to realise that I had my own plough to furrow, and they were really pivotal to me having that little moment where I felt like I found something that's unique. I mean, I didn't realise they were so popular at the time, particularly with other musicians, because they are. In that respect, they're the sort of band. All musicians, and Little Feat were another one. Musicians wanted to sort of, oh God, they're the guys, And it's as much about who's playing with them as it is about the wonderful music that they're playing,
For sure.
And that's great. And the other one, of course, you picked, which is one of my favourites of all time, and it could have been any of them, but. He's Mr. Know-It-All. What an amazing song.
What a great song off a great album, Innovations. Isn't it?
I mean, he had a run, didn't he? I mean, those 6 albums through the 70s. Him and Elton John actually did a patch of work. That they could have just stopped at the end of that patch and never had to worry about making records again, because you cannot top what they did in that time. No. I think they used all their best stuff up in that
Well, of
period.
course. I mean, they get that little window in their lives, and McCartney's similar that to a certain extent.
To a degree,
they get that window where it's just the magic happens.
And the thing was, with the difference to the industry today, ladies and gents, is that those guys are making an album every year and touring, and in some cases were making 2 albums each year. Elton John was, but Stevie Wonder was he was like Prince, he was just working all the time. And he was like 23, 24, I know. I mean, it's ridiculous, and all that work and phenomenal tunes, covered by millions and an amazing musician. Could play everything. Well, apart from the guitar maybe, but he played the drums on Superstition. He's playing drums on loads of stuff. And phenomenal, and I'm not surprised you chose that song, because it's one of my favourites.
It's a toss-up between that and Living for the City, which is another one of my favourites.
I know,
I mean, that's an epic.
Exactly.
Right,
Now, moving forward. Over the last few years, because we've worked together a lot, on and off, for 30 odd years, as you know, we've done gigs together and recorded together and made albums together and all sorts of stuff. But a couple of highlights that you've had in the more recent times, one in particular, is working with William Bell. How did that come about? Right. A soul legend, ladies and gents.
Again, we used to do an annual gig up in Cleethorpes, the Northern Soul.
That's right, you were involved in that.
Yeah, we did it every second Saturday of every June. And I did it for about 15 years, I think, in the end. But one of the guests there was William Bell. And he managed to get William Bell. This was before he made that album, that he was promoting when I was with him. So he was a little more low key. And so there was a unit there, a regular unit up there. And so when that thing happened, the This Is Where I Live album, is it? When that came out, and it won a Grammy as the best Americana album of the year, he was coming over to England, and various connections linked up, and we got the call to be his backing band.
Wonderful.
With and then we added like 3 brass. And and we did festivals in Europe, and We did the Barbican and the one in Newcastle.
Wonderful.
The one the other side of the river, I can't remember. Yes, not great gigs. Yeah. He was a lovely guy to work for.
Yeah,
lovely guy. But there's a little story there where the original trumpet player, who was a lovely guy actually, and it all sounded fine to me, but William could hear something that I couldn't probably, and like we did 2 shows. And then the 3rd show we all turned up and the trumpet player was different. So, and I said, what happened? He said, William thought he was blowing sharp. Oh. So it was a man who knew his trade. Obviously.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. And I'll tell you what struck me when I watched him.
Yeah.
And I mean, you can sort of confirm was his sense of control.
Yeah.
As a singer and as a frontman, I followed a lot of this, Dynamics, I know the jokey, the drummer, bring more dynamics, I'll meet him as hard as I can. But the same goes for singers, because the thing is, the singer does control the volume of the show, the tempo, and the feel of the show a lot of the time. And he does that precisely. And it's crystal clear when you hear him singing. It's crystal clear that he's not. The band are not playing too loud,
right?
And everything's under control. And he's got his mic down here, and it's just as clear as if he's holding it there. And it's just that whole thing of that control, because he knows without being an egotist and between saying that it's his name on there, and he's got a reputation to keep up. And he's saying, look. It's ain't me being big time. This is just the job. I want you guys to support me. That's what I'm. This is why they've come to see. You're great. You're doing a great job supporting me, but you've got to allow me to be the star because that's the job. It's not about an ego. It's just what the gig is. Unlike being in a band where you can all have fucking egos and whatever, But the essence of a show like that is you're there to support him.
Of course,
and play accordingly, and that comes across when I've seen the clips. He had a couple of American guys. He's like lieutenants from America with him, didn't he? On that, did he?
Yeah. There was a guitarist, I think, but Mike did some.
That's right, Mike was great on it.
But there's quite a bit of that on YouTube actually. Gatsco, which is in northern Spain.
Yeah.
Gatsco Blues.
Yeah.
This is a Depp bass player. I had a Depp guitarist in that band on that day, but it's still pretty good. But he was the master of just working an audience and working the band really. Because he'd probably done years of working with pickup bands. Yeah. So he had to get in charge.
That comes across. That's very much the case.
And I will say. Yeah, I think he was 78 when we were doing that in 2016. But he'd walk on stage, he'd look $1 million.
I know,
with his hat on and
I know,
shades.
And he just oozed cool, didn't he?
I've got a picture of him in that era in my bedroom in a frame that was off a wall outside the changing room. William Bell that was in Norway. And it's a great piece. He's got a leather jacket on, a trilby and glasses.
It's the ultimate cool. And there's you standing next to him. Which one's the turn? I know what you mean. Because I feel like that most of the time. So that's the trouble. But that's another story.
Yeah.
So that was a great.
That was the last really uplifting thing I did. Really, I mean, apart from the stuff that I do normally. That was great.
That most people would think that, though. To be fair, I mean,
not just Union Chapel as well.
Yeah, that's right.
Gig,
Although I hear the sound can be a bit difficult in there.
I wouldn't. It's not good. I wouldn't go to a gig there. No. I
think they have a lot more acoustic-y type things there, don't they? Normally.
Yeah, it'd probably be a good idea.
Yeah, because it's not.
Although I went to Rick Wakeman there, actually. I went to see his Christmas show.
Yeah.
But that's not a band, really. That's him with
although he's going on tour with the band. He's doing a couple of... He's doing featuring music from those 2 big albums, and
Wives of Henry
VIII and Arthur and the Round Table and Journey to the Centre of the Earth, which of their type are great records, actually.
Yeah,
if you like that sort of thing, they're very good. Wonderful tunes.
As the interviewer said, yes, but Ricky... You're not going to wear the cape. Anyway, pardon. coat somewhere.
The cape, absolutely, and he's got it on now.
Yeah,
It doesn't look quite as good as he did when he was like 25, but that's all right. Ricky's a funny guy. Very funny man.
Great quote. I drive around the motorways of England looking at houses I once owned.
That's right. It's a great story, and he's a mason as well, by the way.
Is he really?
Yeah, we
He's on the square.
He's on the square. Yeah, he can't get it all right, but it's not going to worry him, is it really? No. But there we go, Pete.
Right, so we just missed Rocky Sharpner replays that with the Mike Vernon thing. That was
the other thing I was going to go back to.
That was a good little period in the 80s. Yeah,
I was going to say about that.
We were up and down at Chippy Norton Studios as a house band for.
Because you also had a little moment, 5 minutes, with a band called Racey as well, didn't you?
Oh yeah, I did 2 or 3 tours of Ireland with Racey. Yeah, they were big in Ireland.
Yeah, right, okay.
But that was good. Richard Gower, the singer, who wrote a few songs for Hot Chocolate and stuff.
Okay.
And
so he's part of the Rack family, was he?
He was,
Right,
and we did, as another little story, we were doing a day's recording with Mickey Most.
Oh, great, yeah.
So we all turned up at Rack Studios in St John's Wood, and there's about 3 Porsches out there, Rack 11, Rack 4 and Rack 5. I think, this is a big time. Anyway, we were setting up in the main studio, and Mickey goes out for a run every morning. He used to go out for a run every morning. Didn't do him much good in the end. So we're setting up, and I'm doing my drums in the corner, and Mickey walks in, and he looks over at me, he says, "You won't need those, we're using a machine."
Great.
So that was my day's recording with Mickey Most.
Yeah, you'd gone before it even started.
Yes, yeah.
But there you go. You see, I mean, can you actually, off the top of your head, remember, are there any parts of the world you haven't been to playing music?
South America, probably. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I mean, with BJORN Again, we went everywhere. Yeah, all of Europe, Australia, Scandinavia, South Africa. We did the whole thing down there near, what they call it.
Oh yeah, the South African Vegas.
Yeah. Where Michael Jackson.
Something City, wasn't it? Sin City or something.
Yeah, Sun City.
Sun City. That's right.
Yeah. We did 2 tours of America with BJORN Again,
Wow.
Yeah.
So they were great days, really.
Yeah.
I've got fond memories.
Best quote on that tour was in Salt Lake City, which is Mormon land, religious. A guy comes up to us at the end. The band's called BJORN Again, and he says, "Hey, you guys Christians?"
Wonderful.
Which proves the Americans don't get irony.
No, they don't really. No, not much anyway. Maybe on the fringes they do, but I don't think in the middle there they really get it. No, and we won't go there. I avoid talking about anything like to do with that because it's about music and interviews, so I'm going to avoid that one.
Yeah.
But Pete, I have to say, I mean, for somebody as laconic as yourself and as humorous and self-deprecating as you are, you've done an amazing body of work. You should be very proud.
Well,
you've
can't
done so
change
much
it now. Yeah.
Well, you have. You've done a wonderful stuff. You've literally seen the world, played with some legendary figures.
Yeah.
Been in enormously successful bands and opened for. You mentioned Rod Stewart to me once. For Rod Stewart at Hamden Park.
Great show.
And the Spice Girls, who were like flipping huge at the time. Biggest thing on the planet. And you're on
Black
bills.
Sabbath.
And you opened for Black Sabbath?
Yeah, well, did a festival with Black Sabbath.
What with ABBA, with the BJORN Again?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
On the same bill, and my memory of that is we were on after them, and as we were going up this sort of walkway to get the stage set, Tony Iommi was coming down with his guitar in his left hand. And again, he's walking down with a leather jacket and shades on and
looking $1 million.
Looked like a star.
Yeah.
And I thought, I get it.
Yeah. Well, that's part of the deal, isn't it?
Yeah,
I mean, the thing is that those guys started off scruffy urchins from Birmingham.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
And of course, the look at the time was to look like that. But of course, as the years went on, they embraced and they're trained how to look like stars, and then it becomes second nature to them.
That's
it's something I've never experienced, ladies and gentlemen. But never mind, I've enjoyed what I've done up till now.
Well, you're the same. We just got to do what we do, Paul.
Absolutely. I mean,
what did I saw a quote this week? Comparison is the enemy of contentment.
That's very true. That's very true. I need to remember that more often. To be honest,
stay in your corridor, do what you do. I mean, there are better 12-year-old drummers in the world than me, you know.
Well, there's probably better 12-year-old singers, you know,
and you just got to get on with it.
Yeah. Play, as I said earlier, play your own furrow.
Yeah.
What are you looking forward to, Pete? Seriously?
Christmas? No.
Yeah.
Well, I'm just keeping on doing what I do. I still enjoy it. I'm still quite enthusiastic about playing.
Great.
About the instrument, the physicality of the instrument, and I just do what I do. I mean, you know, I'm doing gigs with you.
Yeah.
You've got quite a few in for next year, which is great. With the soul thing and the proof, which are both enjoyable. Some Bad Influence, and
of course you've got the foundations.
Foundations are still going. Yeah, we've got quite a few in there with them next year.
Great.
Still doing a bit of ABBA, mate. You know.
Oh yeah, of course. Yeah. So
platinum. The ABBA.
You're keeping your fingers in the pies you need to keep.
I keep the ABBA thing going because I'm still working with a click, which is good too.
Yeah.
Right. So we've missed Sassafras 3.0.
Well, I'm getting round to that.
Right,
And to finally round this off, we mentioned the band called Sassafras earlier that Pete did some work with in the 70s. And they contacted you because they're getting back together again. You've been rehearsing with them, haven't you?
Yeah, I've been down to Cardiff 4 times.
Yeah.
And we rehearsed. And the singer's a guy called Mike Doyle, who's quite well known in Wales as an entertainer, but he's got a great voice as well. And he was a Sassafras. He grew up with Sassafras, and he wanted to get involved, and he has. And so we're doing. There's a couple of shows in the book, and they're the sort of two preview shows to get people interested in doing more shows, obviously.
Gotcha.
So it's good, but that is because that's all on Click again now.
All right, okay.
Because Di and Ralph, the two guys who run it, they're ex sort of BBC sound engineers. Which is what they went into after SAS.
Yeah.
So they're really biffed up with all the technical stuff. So
brilliant.
The whole show will be on Click, so that'll be another challenge. But it's good to keep the platinum stuff going.
And when are those shows going to happen for you?
Right, there's one on November the 22nd in a little village outside Cardiff in a village hall that is actually a music venue. That's the start. And then there's a show in the new theatre on January 12th in Cardiff.
Wonderful.
So we'll go from there. I mean, it may... hopefully.
Well, let's hope it does, you know.
There's a demand for that 70s stuff, you know.
Oh, very much so.
And they were a good band. They were, you know, they were very musical, very talented, still are. Yeah. So I'm looking forward to all that.
And the playing side of it, is it a bit of a roast, or is it sort of?
Well, it's a little bit proggy, so it's a challenge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's part of the deal, though, isn't it?
Yeah.
You can't going to get too complacent, do you?
No, I mean, I've enjoyed what I've done so far.
That's great, man.
And we recorded 9 tracks last week, all to Click, and that, you know, that's
wonderful.
Good. Yeah.
Oh, superb.
So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, so you see the door's still opening. The thing is, the doors are still opening, and the opportunities are still arising. But that's down to the fact that you've got a great reputation, you've nurtured these relationships for so many years, and that has enabled you to step into things because they know you, you know, and that's because you're good. And that's what you should remember.
Well, thank you. Well, as you know, I've got a great future behind me.
And with that,
on that note,
as you know, ladies and gents, every time we do these, I normally would do a song, but Pete doesn't play. Well, he's got guitars, he collects them, but we haven't organised a song, so we won't do that today. But because I'm interviewing drummers at the moment, they're not real musicians.
Exactly.
I'm joking. Of course I am. So. If you like these shows, as I've always said on everyone, please subscribe and leave comments. Let us know what you think. And although it's not thousands of people watching these, the fact is I love doing them, and that's the most important part. And I'm flattered that all these wonderful musicians are coming along to sit in and talk about their lives, their careers, because they've all got stories to tell, and they're all worth listening to. And with that, I'm going to say goodbye. And I want to say, Pete, thank you so much.
Thank you, Paul. I really appreciate it. Been a pleasure.
And until the next time, which I've got a few coming up, the next one of these is, strangely enough, with another drummer, Mr. Sam Kelly. I'm doing him next week. So we shall have more stories to tell on Unsung Heroes. Until the next time, God bless and goodbye.